Greetings, Actors family. It's great to be here with all of you today. Happy September 15th. We are here, as always, on the Founder Zoom. And hard to believe that we're already in September. We say that every month, I know, but it is hard to believe that it's the middle of September. As always, I'm joined by David Brown. And for all of you who are new to Actors, first of all, welcome. It's great to have you with us. We do this the 15th of every month. We like to give you a little bit of a glimpse on some of the high points from the last month and give you a sneak peek on what's coming and what's around the corner. So you're in the right place at the right time. And for all of you seasoned vets, you're also in the right place at the right time. It's great to have you. David, how are you doing? How is Utah? I know that it's no longer in the dog days of summer. We're starting to officially kick off fall weather, probably, especially where you live.
Absolutely, Ryan. Well, hello, everybody. Yeah, it's great. It's my favorite time of the year by far. The fall colors are starting to show. The temperatures are cooled off, but not too much, and it's just wonderful. And it's the time of year when summer vacations are over, kids are back to school, and people are saying, okay, I got to get back to work. And I've had my fun. I've had some time off, and I think a lot of people's batteries have been recharged and they're ready to go. And I think that's certainly true here at ACTIVZ.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot to talk about. We're rapidly approaching the end of this year. We're going to be jumping into the last quarter of this year really soon. We're looking ahead at our 8th year anniversary that's coming up in just a couple of short months. We're closing out summer, so why don't we get started? David, what were some of the highlights for you from this last month? August, obviously, we were all together down in Los Cabos, which I had never been there. It was great to be with all those people, but what was your take on things? What were some standout moments for you?
Well, certainly Cabo is great. I mean, there's nothing like Cabo in August. It's pretty warm, but we had a fun time. I think that the Actives family. What were there around over 350 of us,
Ye-
I think.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah. Under
and
under 400, but over three. So
yeah,
like
and
close
we
to
uh, we
300.
dominated the resort. Everywhere we went, there was actives this and actives that. People were who were not part of actives were asking about us. What is this? And it was really interesting. I know there were tons of great conversations between distributors and staff and other visitors that like you guys are all so happy. You're so friendly. You all get, who are you guys? And I think that led to a lot of great conversations. It was also kind of historic that for the first time we had some of our Chinese distributors. I think we had about 30,
Yep.
most of whom live in the US and traveled down, but we actually had a handful that came all the way from Beijing to Cabo. That's a long way, and it's interesting, Ryan. Most of them just recently joined the company, and in talking with them about trying to run and qualify for the Cabo trip, I actually had some kind of mixed feelings, saying, "Well, you're new. Maybe you should just focus your efforts. It's a lot of it's going to be in Spanish and things, and we're not going to have translation available." And but they were uh, especially led by their leadership, in particular Shelley Zhang, were very interested in going. And I said, okay, great. And I actually think that they were right, as often is the case. I'm glad that we listened and spoke with them. They had a great time, and they saw Actives for what it really is. Number one, a family of like-minded people that are all really good people and are trying to make a difference in their lives and the lives of other people. And I think that was really great for them to see. Number two, it helped them see that it was much bigger than their own organization, that Actives really is a worldwide company. And then number three, they just had so much fun. I know maybe the highlight for some of them was uh, was doing the karaoke night. Now I wasn't there, much to some of your surprise, because I love karaoke. But I did not go that night. And I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't, because I wonder if the Chinese would have been a little bit more reserved if I had been there. But apparently they were not. They were everything but reserved. And as reported to me, they were not only singing, they were dancing with their Spanish speaking counterparts. And you know what? Even though the verbal language communication may have been a little bit, restricted. certainly the communication of, hey, we're all together in this. We all really want the same things. We're all wired the same way, and ACTIVZ is a vehicle to help us get to where we want to go. That came through loud and clear, and so that was really a highlight. That was really a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a great time. And you're right, it was toasty there. More humidity than I think I've felt ever in my life, but it was great to be with so many people. So I would say the downside was how hot it was. Holy smokes. But
No
I
pun
loved
intended.
it. Yeah, I loved getting back together with the Actors family and seeing everybody, 350 some odd people playing soccer, play soccer on the beach, soccer on a soccer field. It was also for me probably for a while, the last time that I'm going to have my entire family with me on a work trip. I like to bring them and have for years, as you know. I think you met my son Ocean when he had just turned 3 years old, and we were on a cruise ship and we went to Jamaica. Remember that?
Yes,
Many
I
years
do, and that
ago.
makes me very feel very old. Thank you for bringing that up.
Well, you and me both. And this last trip, he was 18, and one child had turned into four. Not sure how that happened. And he was getting ready to go off to college and pursue his own dreams. And so it really I made me more introspective than I like to get or I've been in the past because I think about my own immediate family and then thinking about the Actors family and thinking about the journey that we're on with all of them and how for all intents and purposes, we're really a family. And the culture that we have built here is something that has attracted um, like-minded people to us. And something that I'm very proud of. And it's one of those things, David, as you know, you just have to be there to experience it. I really hope that all of you listening to this, the next time we announce an incentive trip, you do everything you can to qualify to get on it because they're so unique. You're with your own members, maybe a husband or wife or your own family. You're also with coworkers and colleagues and people who you really like, right? And you like working with, but we don't often see them. So it's one of the probably the greatest things that we do here at Actives is the fact that we get back together periodically at events or at trips and we rub elbows with each other. So anyways, I know that my family will go on trips again, just as I know that we'll get back together with all of you on an upcoming incentive trip. Something that also stands out to me was David. You mentioned the people that we had there, and it was fun to hang out in the lobby. And I was introduced, I don't multiple times to employees of that resort who sat down and I got to be part of a presentation and where the distributor with whom I was sitting was giving this employee telling them how they can make money not putting on a uniform and not going and working at that hotel but actually working for themselves and it was awesome because some of there's one guy in particular, I don't remember even who it was that I was with. I certainly don't remember this employee's name, but he was really into it and he loved what he's hearing. He's all about the opportunity to improve health and wellness, to share health, right, through epigenetic technology, but also to own and operate his own business. He was really jazzed about that. I wish I remember who that was. I'd like to follow up to find out whatever, I'm assuming he joined us and I'd like to know how well he's doing. But anyways, that was probably a highlight for me, and it was a great way to close out the summer. August, sometimes we say the dog days of August, but that really was a great way to end the year is going down there to Los Cabos, and then sort of putting a pin in. Okay, summer's done. Now let's move on and let's start focus and start building. I will share with everybody this. Since that event. Well, one of the things that we talked about at that event, we had incredible training from our A16s, Christina Godoy, Danny Pizarro, and Martin Lita. We had an opportunity to sit down with members of our field advisory board, our A11s and above. And one of the things that we talked about, I'm going to share with all of you a little bit about what we talked about. We gave them a glimpse, a very small glimpse of what's coming and of how we're going to close this year and the importance of creating momentum right now between now and the end of the year because sometimes there are shifts in a company's tenure and there are shifts in your own business and shifts can be pods where you start growing or shifts where you flatten out. I mean, it just happens, right? Companies and people go through cycles. Um, and I explained that the company is really sort of at the tail end of a cycle, and we're getting ready to turn the page on a new cycle or a new chapter for the company. And I shared with them why I'm so excited about our eighth anniversary that's going to take place November 8th down in Mexico City. I didn't share with them everything, but did share how there's going to be a new sales system and a new strategy that will help really, and I'm not exaggerating here, it should open 98% of all the doors in Mexico, in the United States, and all over in whatever country we're doing business in. And and in order to do that, though, it's going to take extra commitment. It's going to take people digging deep and saying, okay, I've been earning well for, several years now. Am I ready to get back? And am I ready to go back to what I did in my first or my second or my third year of business and really lead out on this new strategy that the company is going to be launching? And to a person, and I thought maybe 60% would be excited. The other 40% would say, "Hey, we're happy earning what we're earning. I'm not ready to get back into the game like I used to." But to a person, every single one of them has individually told me, I want back in. I'm ready to run hard. Now, don't misunderstand me. They're all in, but I mean, there's a difference on how you run when you're in your first couple of years compared to when you're in your fifth or your sixth or your eighth year of building, right? And they all told me that they are back in 100%. We've been setting goals together, and I am really, really excited about what some of these leaders, these members of our field advisory board, what they're wanting to accomplish. Um, Most of them, when they tell me, look, I have a plan to reach to A16 this next year in 2026. And I'll ask him, how much volume are you going to hit A16 with 1 million points? And most of them say, no, no, no. My goal is to 1% have $10 million a month, right? $10 million a month. That's 10 times bigger than just a base A16. And we talk about that. We talk about how security, where security comes from. Security comes from creating an asset that pays you residually over the long term, right? An asset that's made up of a pipeline of consumers, right? Tens of thousands of people who are just consuming the trifecta, who are consuming Aero, who are consuming Nitrox, who are consuming Emora, and diversified not only in one country, but coming from as many countries as possible. So when you look at a diversified income, right, of residual income, and it comes from a number of different products from a number of different countries, you can say to yourself, boy, you know what? I am protected. This is I think I am going to be able to retire with this. And I don't have to worry about something happening in that country or with this product or that product because I have a footprint that it extends throughout the globe. So a lot of my conversations with these leaders have been about that. It's really exciting. I'm excited to see what they do this between now and the end of the year, and I'm really excited to see what some of you do as we launch this new initiative come November, right? So again, if you're looking for, if and I'll just say this, David, and in closing, and I'll pass it to you, is there are probably here people watching this who have not gotten out of actives what they want to get out of actives. Some of you have, some of you are earning 8 to 10 times more than you were when you first joined actives. And that's incredible. I love seeing that. But a lot of you are probably listening to this saying, you know what? I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to retire. I can't retire. I'm not even covering all my bills yet. I still work a day job, right? I haven't transitioned full time yet into actives. Well, it's not too late, right? In fact, there is really never been a better time than right now to really get involved, engage with us. In the beginning of actives, we had only one product. We had a lot of challenges, right? Credit card processors, foreign governments. I mean, it was really hectic and chaotic, and we survived, right? And we survived growing double digit each year since we launched. But today is the best time to really engage because of everything that we have ready for you to engage in. Nobody knows about epigenetics still. You can go anywhere. You could go talk to 100 people in whatever city you're living in, and maybe one person will have heard of epigenetics, but I doubt that anybody really understands it. And they really don't know that there are products that help you optimize your genetic expression. That is a message that only we have and that only you have, and you have exclusive rights to these products. So make sure you take full advantage of that. My point is, it's not too late. Set goals for yourself. Make sure that what you're doing today, that getting to the end of the year, you're going to say, okay, you know what? I'm earning twice as much as I am today, end of December, compared with December, compared with September when I heard Ryan and David talk to me on that founders call, right? You can do that. You can double your income between now and the end of the year. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Write down a daily plan of action, right? Write down your goal, how much you want to be earning, and then reverse engineer it back into it with your daily plan of action. And make sure you're treating your business like a business. If you do that, it will pay you like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. Hobbies don't pay us anything, right? We pay for our hobbies. So treat it like a business and take action each and every day. So, guys, I'm very excited about the event coming up. I'm excited. I'm traveling to Tampico, Tamaulipas this week. We're going to have an incredible time down there, and I can't wait to see all of you soon. David, what are you excited about? What do you see on the horizon?
Well, I just want to just take a step back for a second and revisit Cabo because one of the things I forgot to mention why that was so important is that people saw that it wasn't just theoretically possible to succeed here at ACTIVZ. They met people who actually had. They met
Mm,
Christina Godoy. They met Martine Lita. They met Danny Pizarro and others who have made it to the top. And so that's actually a great motivator to say, okay, wow, this is not just theoretically is theoretical. I don't just see this on a piece of paper that it's possible to do this. I've met some people who actually have, and that's really important to build belief that way. And I think that as we go into the remainder of this year, I think we can kind of put ourselves into kind of like a person who wants to get in better shape. There's somebody who's like, oh man, I've just gained way too much weight. I haven't exercised in years. I think I'd like to get in better shape. And then there's a person who, like, yeah, I've been in good shape before, but I'm not in as good a shape as I was before. If both of those people are looking at what they need to do, they need to have a plan of action. And for the person who used to be in pretty good shape, say, what was I doing that I'm not doing now? That's kind of like a person whose business has maybe slipped a little bit. What was I doing before when my business was doing better that I'm not doing now? Am I not, if I used to exercise every day and I was in better shape, well, maybe I had to exercise every day. If my business, I spent more time on it every day, well, maybe I ought to go back to doing that. For a person who's never really, been in the shape that they want to do, they should look at what a successful person, or a person who has gone from being, out of shape and into shape, and follow that. It usually involves a daily plan of action that starts out, if taking a walk around the block, and then maybe two walks around the block. And the same thing's true of building your business. Do something every single day that you're not currently doing, because otherwise, to expect that it's going to change, we all know that that's the definition of insanity. We had a great active school on Saturday where Gracia Chavez and Christina Godoy both presented, both people who have had success in different ways, but they've accumulated business and they are looking to continue to do that. And I just think that now, to me, fall, we look back at our school days, and fall is often considered the beginning of the year. Christina, in her presentation, talked about harvesting and how fall is often considered the time of the harvest. Well, guess what? Nowadays, with technology, depending on where you are in the world, harvest time is all the time. You never know when you can harvest. So it's not too late to plant seeds. We're in the fall. Get working, and you'll be harvesting, the bounties of your activities in December, in January, in February, months that aren't normally associated with harvest, but they can be for you if you want to work hard right now. And there's lots of exciting things to talk about. The great thing is, Ryan, just kind of in closing, is that if you treat every single person that you meet as someone who needs what you have to offer,
hmm
okay, who needs better health, who needs more assistance with their finances, who wants to be part of a group bigger than themselves, you'll be right. 99.9% of the time, people want what we have to offer. Now, that doesn't mean they're always going to say yes, because maybe they don't really appreciate it. But don't miss the opportunity to invite. Invite everyone you can to participate in this, and you'll find that you're helping both of you attain the things you really want to. So I'm excited about September. I'm excited to see you all in Mexico City, or many of you, and at other events that we're going to be holding and announcing. And there's a lot of exciting times ahead. So back to you, right?
Excellent. Well, thank you, David. Great to see you as always. We're going to do this in Spanish here in just a minute. But to everybody on this, it's great to be here with you this evening. Thank you for joining us. And let's get to work. Let's just put everything into action that you've been hearing. And I love what David said about just do something. Do something every day, right? Um, and you will ultimately reach what you want to reach, and you can get your goals. Make sure you're taking action. I'm going to just close with a quote that I have on my wall because I love it because it really for me it keeps me organized and it keeps my bearings straight. So I'm going to share this with all of you in the spirit of taking action every day and doing the right thing. It says people don't decide their future, they decide their habits and their habits decide their future. I love that, right? Sometimes we think, hey, I'm going to do this or do that, and then I'm going to get to where I'm going. Guys, focus on your habits, right? Decide what time you're going to get up every morning. What are you going to do after that? You're going to exercise, you eat, you read or study, do something like that. But make sure that you are putting in place healthy habits, right? Um, uh, in my years when I built as a distributor, now, I didn't do this right off the bat. I learned to do this, but I had the habit of not going to bed at night until I had done at least one presentation that day. And that meant I had to call a lot of people. I had to send a lot of messages out to people. But that was my habit. And it translated into results because not only did it bring me enrollments, but the people who I had enrolled in that company, they just copied what I did. They did what I did. And now all of a sudden I had all these people presenting every single day. So that's just an example of how habits will decide your future. So, on that note, we can't wait to see you next month. We wish you the very best of luck and success. Thank you, David. And we'll see you all very soon. And we'll see you.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
See you soon.